G'day guys, welcome back to RC Chronicles. Today it is part 2 of my Wltoys 144001 on-road speedrun car build. Let's get into it. In today's episode, we start laying out the new design of the carbon fibre under tray for my 144001. Now, it was going to be one video of designing and cutting it out, but it was going to be way too long. So today, we're just going to lay out the design and work out, and I'll explain to you why I did certain aspects and all that type of thing, but no need to waffle now. Let's just get into it and explain as I go along. Guys, don't forget, subscribe and smash the bell. Alright guys, I've now got the chassis completely cleaned off and clear of stuff, and the reason why I did that was to prep it for creating the extra chassis plate that I'm going to put on the bottom with the side saddles for the battery. And good news today, this turned up, which is a 2mm thick sheet of carbon fibre, which I'm going to use as the underplate for the chassis. So basically the way it's going to work is I'm going to sit it, that's the front there I think with the circular bits, could be wrong but it doesn't really matter. Yep, you're wrong. What a shock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a portion at the front so I can then drill a couple of holes in it for creating the front bumper that's going to go underneath the new body shell that I already showed you. And at the back, I'm going to end it probably about there, right before it kicks up, because I'm going to use to anchor this to the main chassis. I'm going to use these two holes here. I'll show you if you can see these two holes here, which are the two rear holes for the front gearbox, and at the back the two rear holes for the rear gearbox. And the reason why I'm using those is because the chassis is actually still flat at the point of those. Initially I wanted to use the three holes on each side of here, but I've been struggling to work out how to actually manipulate it to get it so the nuts on the top, because the screws will come up from the bottom, how the nuts on the top are going to sit flush with this angled bit of plate, because I don't want to bend those bits straight. I want to keep this chassis as intact as I possibly can. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out the center line of the actual chassis. Probably just put a mark on each side because it doesn't need to go all the way through, and then mark the center line on this piece of carbon fibre, and that way I can line them up, get the right distance from the front, and then with just like a bit of blue tack or something sit it down so it doesn't wiggle about, and then with a scribing tool just scribe around the shape, and then it'll be a matter of cutting out the shape from the carbon fibre. I am not going to bother going into all this detail, so that's what I'm going to do now. The first thing I'm going to do is find the center of the chassis. So I shall put this sheet of carbon fibre off to the side for the minute, and we will have a look and see what the size of it actually is. Easier to do it with this side because my eyesight's not that great. Alright, so it looks to be about, well, that there's 31, so I'll do it from there. So 31, so roughly 15.5. Cool. Well, I'll crack on with that. Alright guys, I'm not sure whether that is showing up on the, there we go, I think you can see that there. Just did a centre line through the centre. Well, obviously a centre line through the centre. I'm not going to do a centre line through 3/4 of it, but a line through the centre of the chassis. Now we can do the same with the carbon fibre plate, and then we'll be able to put the two together. It doesn't need to be absolutely perfect at this stage. I want to get it as close as I possibly can. The only bit that's going to need to be perfect is when it is cut out and it's been held together and the screw holes are lined up. That's the bit where it's imperative, but I do want to get it as close as I possibly can, because why not? So I'll grab this sheet of carbon fibre and we will get into that. Alright guys, the chassis is now on the piece of carbon fibre. We've put the centre line through it, and I also put a line up this end where I wanted it to go beyond the front of the chassis in order to have a extra bit there to attach a front bumper, because I don't want to mould the front bumper out of the one piece. Just in case the bumper breaks, then I don't need to change the entire chassis. I just unbolt it from the front here and then create a new front piece. So, and if I was able to get more than the one piece, which I can, but it's expensive stuff, so I was only able to afford one. At first this was like $30 just for one small sheet of it, 2mm thick, so I would have actually extended the back a little bit beyond like the front in order to attach a wheelie bar to it, but I wanted to keep this amount of it at the back in order to fabricate a front bumper out of this section. So I'm not sure yet whether it's worth doing that, extending it out for the wheelie bar anyway, and then maybe buying another piece for the front bumper. I'm not sure. Maybe it is better to extend it out for the wheelie bar. Haven't decided on that yet, guys. I will before I cut it, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. Leave comments on what you would do. I know what I would do if I had the money and I had more than one sheet of it, for sure, but I'm just trying to do it on a budget, I guess. So not sure yet, but there we go, guys. That is now on. Basically the way that I'm going to work it is, and I was wrong before, these half round bits are at the back of the chassis, so of course 50% chance and got the 50% wrong. So this is going to be cut out like that, so these side pieces are going to stay, the rest is going to go. It's going to sit, it's going to sit batteries one on either side like that. I am going to run them, oh god, I always keep getting mixed up. I'm going to run them not turning, this is a little 3S battery, 120C, 1500 milliamp. I'm going to run them so it's still 3C but 3000 milliamp, so whichever, whether that's parallel or series, can't quite remember, I think it's series. Why do I always get these things confused? It's so simple. They will be running in parallel. Parallel keeps the voltage the same but doubles the milliamps. So 1500 milliamps per battery, 2 batteries, 3000 milliamps. In series, it actually keeps the amps the same and it increases the volts. So if you've got two 7.4 volt 2S batteries, run them in series, you then have 14.8 volts, which is basically 4S. It's simple. Why do I keep forgetting this? That's the way it's going to sit, and that will enable me to have a lot of the space inside the actual chassis for use for ESC and stuff like that. And if the ESC doesn't even fit in there, there's going to be room on the chassis, on these side plates, that if I can even just run one 3S battery and put an ESC on the other side. So there's going to be plenty of room. And I've also made it, I could have actually cut this and stayed on the same angle so it was cut angled in, but what I want to do is I want to make it so I've got room to move this battery forward or back depending on what sort of weight balance I want on the car for more fine tuning. I might want one at the front and one at the back, probably not, but based on which side the motor is on and potential little bits of torque twist, I might want them a little bit further forward or a little bit back or riding in the middle. I used to do that with my buggies when I raced my Triple X4. You were able to slightly move the position. If you used a shorty battery, you were able to move the position forward or back depending on how you wanted to fine tune it. So I know I'm waffling a bit here, guys, but I want to make sure I document every step and make it very clear, because I didn't really do that with my other 144 build when I was changing it to Mod 1 gearing, and there were some people who wanted to do it who didn't quite know, which I didn't either, but I was confusing them a bit. So I don't want to do that this time. I want to be very clear about how I'm doing it and why I'm doing it and what I am doing. So apologies if you've already done this and you already know it, but I am being very clear and very concise and covering every step of the way. So the next step is to take this off and mark out the final lines using my T-square to make sure everything's nice and true and straight, and then it'll be a matter of cutting it out. And I've actually never cut carbon fibre out other than on a bandsaw, so I've only got a hacksaw at my disposal, so I'm going to have to use that, but I think it should be fine if I just go slow and do it gently. The only issue is going to be cutting these angle bits, because I'll be able to cut in down there and across there, but getting in the end there, if I used a jigsaw it'd maybe work, but I'm a bit dubious about using jigsaws now because of my hand grip and stuff, but I'll work it out anyway, guys. So that's where we're up to for now. I'll come back when it is marked out and we are ready for cutting. So what do you guys think of the design? Do you like it? See any flaws in it? Leave a comment down below, let me know. I didn't want to make it too long and include the having it cut out portion and stuff like that, but it would have been way too long if I'd have put that in. It's long enough as it is, so I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you all. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and smashing on that bell. That'd be really great. Until the next one, guys, I'm Matt at RC Chronicles. Catch yous later.